Hi, I'm Tyson Nielson. I own Surf Social Media Management. So we started about a year ago. We work predominantly in social media as far as internet marketing goes. Um, so I don't really know. I haven't been here. There's probably quite an extensive range of experience. Who has a lot of extensive experience specifically in social media and marketing on social media by raise of hands? Nobody. Okay. Um, Excellent. Well, then let's go ahead and actually open this up. I'm going to start. Um, if you guys have any initially, and there'll probably some will develop, but are there any initial questions you guys have? What are the doubts, concerns, questions? What are things that you have felt or heard about social media as far as from a marketing standpoint that you think are either are awesome or you hear are super challenging, or what do you think are the big misconceptions? Any questions you guys have about anything to do with that? Anything off the bat? Yeah. Yeah, and a matter of fact, let's come back to that question because that's going to probably sum up a lot of what I talk about today. But let's hold on to that because for sure we're going to talk about that. It can be a little bit difficult, and there's some reasons for that, right? The biggest reasons are usually just the misunderstanding of how to utilize social media in a way that actually results in increasing your bottom line. Um, at the end of the day, a lot of people feel like social media is all about just talking to people and showing pictures of your grandkids or your kids or whatever. And so, yeah, or yeah, Instagram, right? Thanks to Instagram, we get to know what people ate for lunch or breakfast. Okay, so that's good. Let's hold on to that. We'll come back. In general, and I can answer that question more specifically, and we'll come back to this question over here. But specifically, in general, depending on the client, depending on a few factors. But in general, I tell them it takes about 3 months to start to really see the measurable. They're going to start to actually see the results. They'll see results sometimes a lot faster, right? There's things like offers and claims and deals. We work a lot with, so we work with a franchise, and every time a new franchise opens up, um, the specifically the promoting on social media results in huge turnouts for their openings. It results in usually a very fast number of likes very initially from people in their area. So there are some things that you can do to get results immediately. So if you have the right tools, I typically tell them you're going to see you're going to see some results right away. You'll see some things that will start to happen immediately. But you'll see consistent results. You'll start to see a genuine increase in business between 2 to 3 months. And the reason for that is because of the nature of what social media does for a business or a brand. And this is where what some of the misconceptions about social media really are. And that's the idea that you can't do really the two things businesses do most often with social media. Um, the first and the most common I hear is, oh, we've got a guy that's really good at social media. Okay, we've got a guy who works for us. We're going to have him do our social media. He's really good. Now, what do you think most people mean when they say they're really good at social media? Yeah, they're on it all the time. Okay, they personally use Facebook all the time. They've got a lot of friends and they are on Facebook all the time. And so what we see with that is we'll see companies get on there, and all they'll do is they'll put these super casual, no call to action, um, no direction. They're not measuring anything, right? They're not looking for, there's no performance indicators at all for what they're doing. All they know is they want to, maybe the guy's really trying to get their likes up, which genuinely they're often not even great at doing that, or if they are, you can look at the demographics of their likes and realize they're not the people spending the money. So that's a huge problem. So they're just putting a lot of casual things out there. They have no concern for if it matches brand or not. The second problem is the opposite. Okay, they've got a marketing guy or no marketing guy. That's another situation, but they think that they can just put their traditional marketing messages onto social media and see a return on investment. It doesn't work that way. Um, Now, the benefit to um, marketing online at all is, of course, as we all know, is the difference between saying, I put an ad in the newspaper and I hope a lot of people saw it or noticed it, versus oh, I know how many people actually clicked on this, or I know how many people saw it. I know how many impressions it had. So we can measure a lot of those things. Um, but the problem being, you can't just put out there, hey, here's this discount, here's this deal, um, time and time again. People don't respond well to that. Who here uses Facebook? Okay, so most everyone here uses Facebook. Who here likes a page or a company on Facebook if they use it? Yeah. Is there one that you regularly interact with? Yeah, couple. And it's not because interactive is the main part, right? So you have to find a way to merge this level of interaction. So this idea that this kid who's good at social media just puts a bunch of weird stuff out there, and this idea that you have something that actually brings in an investment. And so we're going to talk about that, and that'll come back to here. However, if you can get the right tools in place, you should be able to see consistent results, a consistent increase in brand loyalty over the period of 2 to 3 months. You should start to see some really, the point of social media is you can really create some evangelists for your brand. And that's probably part one I would tell any company. You really want, obviously everyone knows word of mouth is the best, okay? But I use the term evangelist a lot because that's what social media creates. If you can create the right customer, and you have the right products, and everything else is in line, okay, and you can create good social media. Social media is not a magic pill. Okay, it doesn't fix bad branding. It doesn't fix bad product. But if you have good brand, good product, good service, then you can create brand evangelists. You create people who are proud to like you. They stand up for you, and therefore you gain this incredible increase in brand loyalty. Statistically speaking, we're talking 78% of people that like and interact with a company on Facebook regularly. So we're talking not just like, but are actively liking, so they're seeing posts, they're interacting with them. 78% of them are going to use that product or service regularly. They're going to remain loyal to that brand. So that's one of the huge strengths. Does that answer your question? This answers part of yours. Any other questions? Start with? Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about where we came from. So I had my degree in psychology. My emphasis was on consumer psychology and organizational behavioral psychology. So you'll notice I talk about brand constructs a lot. The reason is because we were kind of born out of branding. Social media is a great marketing tool. More importantly than maybe just seeing it as a straight marketing tool is it is a phenomenal branding tool. Now what do you think I mean the difference between branding and marketing? I use those two terms. They're somewhat interchangeable. What would you say are the key differences between branding and marketing? Getting someone to recognize or associate your name, okay? I think that's a great description. So branding would be getting people aware of kind of who you are, what you represent. That's what we talk about with brand constructs. Versus marketing is getting people aware of the product that you offer. Okay? Yeah, along the same line. So what we really talk about with branding is, again, there's a couple brand constructs that really matter. And one of the main ones is brand personality. And that's what we talk about, who you are as a company, right? What kind of a company is it? When I do business with you, what do I expect? When we talk about what do I expect, I mean, is it fun? So I'll give you a really good example of a brand construct, of a strong brand personality trait that is created by another frozen yogurt shop up in Canada. And their frozen yogurt shop, they made a decision. They said they just didn't want to call it fun. They just didn't want to call it, vibrant or exciting. They used a really interesting descriptive term. They said, we want it to be a release. We want our brand to be something that is a de-stressor for people. And then they described it a little further. They went a little deeper. They said, okay, when you're having a rough time, but you get to go and sit in a movie for 2 hours. And for a couple hours, you get to kind of switch your brain off, and you just get to relax. about their customers, right? So they want to make sure that their business is all about getting people into the store and making sure when they're in the store they're having an amazing experience. Now social media is pretty much 100% about interaction, okay? It's not directly, it's why Facebook hasn't done super well when they offer items in a store, right? Because people don't get on social media to buy something. That's not why they get on there. Now it's a difference. Sometimes when people just get on the internet and they're browsing or they're Googling, they're doing it to purchase. Okay, that's oftentimes what's happening. When someone searches for HD TVs, it's oftentimes because they're interested in buying one. When they get on social media, they're interested in what grabs their attention. What do they find funny? What do they want to interact with? Okay, this is kind of going to change the way that internet marketing works. And the reason for that is because we're going to see more and more as the new web versions continue to roll out. All of these social elements and these interactive elements you guys are probably already dealing with for those of you that do this professionally. Those interactive elements are starting to really become what the internet is, right? And whether that's Facebook or whether Facebook dies and something else pops up, which is probably unlikely, but it could very well happen, it doesn't matter. Interaction is now what the internet is about. But we know social media has really been the thing that has created that. And so social media is all about interaction. The business is all about the customer. So we really want to make sure that those two worlds are one and the same. Okay? And that's where the challenge lies with social media marketing of any type. Now, who's heard the term social seeding? You ever heard of that? Social media seeding? Seeding and marketing. When you hear this term, any guesses? I know I'm asking a very open question. What do you think it means? Okay, not quite, but it's partially it's where we're coming from. Now, what else could seeding mean? Okay, so I want you to think of it this way. Seeding is kind of, when we talk about seeding in the internet world, we're talking a little bit more about redirecting people. So starting one place, creating a bunch of, if we looked at it with websites, which we wouldn't really do it this way, you could create 10 websites, okay, that eventually all represent the same company or product, okay? Now the reason that we wouldn't do that online is because that would create confusion and it wouldn't do us a whole lot of good. But there's a reason that we do it on social media. So I'll give you an example. I want you to imagine, this is the case we've had with a few of our clients, that you're going to be a social media marketer, okay? You're now the owner and operator of Surf Social Media, okay? And you have a client approach you, and they represent a financial institution, okay? So a credit union comes and approaches you, and they say, we really want to utilize social media better. Now, right off the bat, you hear that. What are the challenges? Okay, the client doesn't know exactly what they want. That's definitely a challenge. Anyone else? Okay, but see, you're smiling and even kind of laughing when you say that. This is very true. We're going to come back. That's a good point. Value you bring to your life. This is an interesting term, and let me tell you why it's such an interesting term. Why do people like a page on Facebook? Okay? You've, right here, say that aloud. Okay, it's what you're touching on. Okay, it's the same exact thing you're touching on, but this is exactly the right wording. Facebook is your high school locker times a billion. Literally times a billion, right? Because what we're talking about is the reason people like anything on Facebook, it doesn't matter what, is because it says something about who you are. Right? We're all incredibly self-centered on social media. I'm kidding. It's not really the truth. It sounds that way. Why do we want to put on there what it says about us? Why do we only like a page that says something about us? Again, what is social media about? What's it about? Interaction. Okay. So why do we only like pages then that say something about us? Maybe sounds like a little bit of irony, right? A little bit of contradiction, but it's not. When you meet someone, okay, say you meet someone for the very first time, what's one of the first things you can do? Okay, I guess if you're a guy, maybe, right? Especially if there's girls in the room, you'll probably size them up. That's what it is. Interaction naturally lends itself to saying things about ourselves. It doesn't have to be self-centered. The point is, we need to have things to hide because then it takes social media? Oh, for sure. They're actually some of the best ways